As a security professional, you need to determine compliance requirement when working with information system. Certainly when you are applying information system security and as a CISSP, we are expected to understand how to determine the compliance and other requirement as they pertains to contracts, legal matters, industry standards and other regulatory requirement. The reason is so important is because there are laws and regulations that apply to every industry we work in, whether it's financial, government, medical, you name it. There's got to be some laws or regulation that's governing how the industry works. Some of this regulation you might came across are things like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1986. There's Federal Privacy Act 1974 or the Computer Security Act 1987. There's also FISMA, the Federal Information Security Management Act, the Economic Espionage Act of 1996. There's the US Patriotic Act, Sarbanes-Oxley or SOX. There's PCI DSS or Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act of 1999 or GLVA, the Basel II Accords, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. There's Personal Information Protection and Electronic Document Act, GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation, and many others. So there's many different laws and regulation. What does that really mean to you as a CISSP or the security professional? In reality, we need to know how to be compliant with these standards. We must be able to determine the proper level of protection that is needed to protect the information, the data, assets, people, whatever it might be. But from a compliance standpoint, most of them are revolving around privacy, data privacy in particular. So we need to understand how to apply proper level of protection for organization control data, and we also must be able to prove compliance with whatever the applicable regulation or statute might be. Now typically this is going to apply to specific industries. The health industries has their own set of regulation, payment card have their own set of regulation, government has their set of regulation, financial market, and I mean you name it, they have their own set of regulation. There's so many different industry out there and they all have some kind of law and regulation that applies to them. And usually the way that we demonstrate compliance is through the use of artifact or documents. We produce plan, policies, procedure and so on. Things we will talk about later. That certainly we are going to demonstrate that we are compliant with whatever security controls or requirements are a part of this regulation and statute. What important to know is that the organization has to apply the security controls, safeguards, countermeasure as required by this law or regulation, and any failure to comply with that laws or regulation might result in civil penalty such as monetary fine and cost, maybe even a civil suit of some kind, all the way up to the criminal penalties such as imprisonment, fines or other legal action. And for example, if you are creating a contract, an agreement between your organization and another organization, what law and regulation are going to apply between the two organizations? Maybe one organization is based in United States of America, maybe other organization is based in the United Kingdom or in the Australia or maybe New Zealand or Russia or whatever it might be. The laws and regulation are going to be different in both of these countries. So when we create the contract, we need to make sure that we understand the law that apply in United States, the law that applied in United Kingdom or Australia or New Zealand or whatever this other company or organization might be. Now in the next video we are going to dive into the specific laws and regulation you need to know for the CISSP exam. But the bottom line for this video is that you know the regulation and statutes apply to all industries and you also want to know the requirement or the reason that you need to be compliant with those laws and regulation.